Hey gang, Jim Spellos here. Happy Microsoft Monday. And this time we got a request from a viewer who is talking about the challenge in Excel to be able to calculate the hours between a start time and an end time. Not that it's necessarily difficult when it's the same day, but when you're dealing with multiple days. So why don't we dive in right now and take a look at how that works and what the hidden tool is you need to understand to be able to make that multi-day approach work. So let's go here, and it's going to be a mess for a second. There we are. Okay, great. So now we're here and we see on columns A, B, and C, we have basic start and end time, and we want to create an hours elapsed. And so for C2, pretty straightforward, right? It's going from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're going to do a quick function. We're just going to say equal, and we're going to take the end time, B2, and we're going to subtract the start time, A2. I'm not worried about parentheses or anything like that. This function will work. We hit enter, and it shows that 6 hours has elapsed. And if we bring that down to the next row, from 9 to 3, we'll see that, well, 6 hours has elapsed. 6 hours and no minutes to be precise. And again, bring it down one more time to C4, 7.5 hours, all good until we get to row 5. And when we get to row 5, what we're going to find is this. And what's happening, and I don't want to go too deep into it, is it's calculating a negative number because it doesn't understand the difference between the start time being later than the end time. And because in that format it's calculating a negative number, it's showing all those pound signs, and it's not going to work. Now, no matter what you try to format here, it's still going to come up with a negative number. So what we need to do is look at how we can make that change using a start time and an end time with the day and the time. Now, this is going to be a two-step process. The first step is to make sure that we add in there the day and the time, the start day and time, and this formatting rule. So if I highlight, let's say I'll highlight columns D and E, and then I'm going to hit Control 1, and that brings up my format cells dialog box, and you'll see that within here, within the date category, pardon me, I can choose whatever I want, and in this case I'm choosing a format that is indeed date and time. So cool, we have that formatted properly. Now we haven't done any formatting yet to column F, and we'll see why. So we want to make this a mistake first, and then we want to fix it. So I'm going to build the same formula that I was building in column C. I'm going to go equal, but at this point I'm going to say E2 minus D2. And you're going to get the idea that this is going to give me a bad number, and indeed it is. It's not going to allow me to work it through, even though I've told it that it's a matter of a couple of days. In fact, right now it's going backwards, so there's no way it's going to work from 9 o'clock on the 20th to 11:30 in the morning on the 20th. So let's make a fix here. Let's go and change that to the 21st. And we would hope that something good's going to happen here, and it sort of kind of does, but not really. What it's coming up with is a multi-hour change that's saying 2 hours and 30 minutes, or 2 days, confused, just confused. And if we try to make this work going down this row here, we're going to see, and let's ignore the bottom one, that it's just not giving us the right format. So how do we calculate the hours? We have the formula right, but what we need to do is go into the F column, hit our Control 1, bring up our format cells, and here's where the magic works. We're going to go into the time category. Not the date, but the time category. And it doesn't explain it. It doesn't show you why. But if the selection you make is this one, 37, 30, 55, what that in Excel is saying is we want days, hours, minutes, or actually in this case, hours, minutes, seconds. So I want this formatted so that it's going to calculate across multiple days. All I need to do is choose that format, and when I hit OK, everything now is formatted properly. So it now understands that from the 20th at 9 o'clock to the next day at 11:30, it's 14.5 hours. from the 5 o'clock on the 20th to 3:30 in the morning on the 21st, it's 10.5 hours. And going multiple days, not a problem. It's going to 36 hours. Now, you might think, well, I don't need the seconds. So let's make one more change. We're keeping that entire column highlighted. We're going to F1 again, or I should say Control 1 again. And at this point, even though we've already made the change, we're going to make one more slight change here. We're going to go down on the left side to the custom category. And from there, we can see what this particular column looks like. It has hour, the H, and it's in square brackets, which is sort of telling it it's going to work across multiple days. And then it's saying minutes, MM, and seconds, NN. Well, what if I don't want seconds? Well, all I have to do with this custom is get rid of that. So it now says H in brackets for the hours, a colon, and MM following that for the minutes. Now when we hit OK, we have made that change. And let's just prove that it's going to work. Let's do one more bizarre one. We're going to say 2/20/23. I'm going to put this in at 1800, but because we formatted it as AM PM, it's going to flip that way, and we'll say 3/22/23 at 1800. Now, what does that look like? Well, we'll make a quick double click here, and we'll see that's 744 hours. So that's how you make that change. Let's actually bring it back to the front so we can just talk about this for a second. All we did here is really didn't change the formula at all, but we changed the formatting. And the formatting of that column has to let Excel know that we wanted to calculate the hours and the minutes across multiple days. And to do that, it's that one option that's in there with 37, 30, 55. Don't try to figure out why it's that way, but that's what's going to make it work. And that's today's Microsoft Monday tip, how to calculate hours across multiple days. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it's useful. If you want more about on time in Excel, let me know and we can do in future weeks. So have a great week. Take care. Again, Jim Spellos, Microsoft Monday. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on LinkedIn, or you can join my Patreon channel, which is always a good way to get all the tips in the world. So hope you enjoy. Have a great week. Take care.